Hello out there. We're on the air. We are late a little bit here, and we had some technical difficulties, you might say. No, we didn't. There were zero technical difficulties. Actually, everything's running exactly how it should. I was just playing outside in the yard with Arnie Boy, and we're having a little bit too much fun today. So we got some snow. Arnie, I don't know if you've seen Arnie before, but he is built for the snow. So we were having some fun. We were doing a bit of shoveling, and I just lost track of the time. So I apologize for keeping you waiting, but I do see that there's a couple people here already today. So we won't waste any time. We try not to waste any sort of time. If you want some time wasting live streams, you can watch the Daily Show Monday to Friday. We usually mess around quite a bit over there, but not here. We're keeping things on track. So let's, I had a couple different things here, a couple different ideas. A few of them probably aren't going to work out as intended. We'll see. We'll see. This is going to be kind of a touch and go kind of an episode today. I got a couple lines in the water, you might say, a couple pokers in the fire, and we're going to see what turns out. But either way, I'd like to say welcome to everybody on YouTube. This is our weekly stream on YouTube. Everything else is done on Rumble and Nostr every day. Welcome to Rumble. I see a couple people over there. And welcome to our favorite live chat. I don't want to shit on anybody here, but our favorite live stream definitely is the Nostr chat. And we should make sure that we're live, which we are. And we got our guy, Vin Diesel, over there to start the show today with a couple zaps of 18 and 45. And I believe that is for the great state of Texas. Is that their, was that their, oh, look at this. Look who it is. Perfect timing. Hey, man, so you deleted my response to your video and that's it. No, that's not it. Alaskan Wolf, I actually posted a video on the channel for you. So you can go ahead and check that out right now. I didn't delete any comments. I never delete comments. YouTube does a pretty good job of screening out the BS, though, so that might be why they took your comments out of there. But either way, yeah, I actually shared a video today in your honor there, Alaskan Wolf. So let's get to her. Oh, you responded to it. I didn't see it, and I definitely didn't delete it. I've been outside. Let's see if it's there. I'll take a look right now. We don't usually do this, but this is special circumstances here. Alaskan Wolf, did you delete my response to this? Why did you delete my response to this? You just, I'm not going to accuse you of anything here, but it sounds like you have no response and you're trying to claim that I deleted your comment. There's literally nothing here. So that's pretty standard, I guess, for trolls. Anyways, let's, if he keeps acting up, we'll kick him out of here pretty quick. But Alaskan Wolf, if you do want to, if you actually want to take some time and learn about Bitcoin, you're in the perfect spot today. This is what these episodes are for, to try and educate people who don't understand Bitcoin a little bit better. And that would be, I would say that most people, if this is the 0 hours, most people who watch the show would be around here. And I'm guessing you would be about right there. So you might not fully understand a lot of the things today, but you can do your best. True words here. All right. Speaking of that, let's get to her. No problem. I will post it again. I'm really not a troll. I just have a different opinion on it. All right. No problem. Okay. So let's kick things off here like we usually do. And then we'll get right to her. Yeah, Ian's liking it. What I mean, it's good. Where else would you see stuff like this, honestly? Like, I was thinking about the radio channel that I want to have in the future. Like, this is just kind of a YouTube channel that's called a radio station, but I want a legitimate radio station. And I really just want to make it like a talk show where we talk about different things. People can come into the live chat and we just talk about them. Like, how cool would that be if you remember when the only option you had was like a radio, cassette player, or a CD? Imagine if you could listen to the radio, but you could actually have people responding while you're talking to things. Like people can call in, but calling in is different than having a literal live chat right in front of your face. So let me just share this with Noster. Let Noster know that we're live for 88 lessons. So we'll see. So typically the structure of this show today was a little bit different, I guess you'd say, because we got the Italian wolf, or the Alaskan wolf, I mean, in the chat. But and I spent 5 minutes without reading the title. That's why I put it up there. But the title today is called "Bitcoin Buys You More Time in the Future." That's what it does. That's what it's designed to do. It stores your time and it stores your energy. A couple different shout outs here. Got one for Gigi. He was the guy who wrote the book called 21 Lessons, which this YouTube series is kind of based on. Just a little bit more depth. Gigi is a very technical guy. He's the definition of a visionary, but he's a very technical guy, and he's a very philosophy focused guy. So this one's going to be the idea of this series, 88 lessons, is to do something similar to that, a little bit less technical, a little bit more into depth with certain topics, and of course in video form, because not everybody knows how to read, I guess you might say. Some people in the comments might not even know how to read, so that's why they watch video. Shout out to Michael Saylor as well. He was the guy who said, this was Saylor's quote. He said, people spend 100,000 hours earning money. Wow. Speaking of can't read, I can't spell. Earning money. They should spend at least 100 hours learning how to keep it. Or 88 lessons. So that's kind of the idea, that whether it's somebody watching the show today or somebody in your life, in your network, if they actually want to learn about Bitcoin, this is going to be the perfect place for them, because it is very, I don't want to say dumbed down, because I'm pretty dumb myself. Like, technically speaking, I'm pretty dumb. So it's not like I'm trying to dumb things down. That's just how I talk. That's just how my brain works. And so for somebody out there, which is the majority of the population, who aren't very technical, this series is kind of built for them. So I want to keep the whole series, all 88 lessons, under 100 hours. So they can start with 1, they can go all the way to 88, and they can have a much better, deeper understanding of Bitcoin. And I'm doing it a little bit selfishly too, because I really believe that the more people who understand Bitcoin, the less likely they are to part with their Bitcoin. And the harder that the centralized institutions, the centralized banks, the centralized governments, the millionaires, the billionaires of the world, the harder that they're actually going to have to work for our sats. They're going to have to pay more. The better people understand what Bitcoin is, what this asset is, what this protocol is, the less likely they are to part with their sats. And therefore, the higher the price is going to go over time. So I'm doing this as a service to the people, but I'm also doing this for myself, selfishly, to help other people understand. New members. We actually got another new member. Market Anarchy was last week, and we had one person, I believe, join this week. So let me find that here quickly. Where was that? How do you write that one? AB Roja, WE5KX. Don't know what the heck kind of name that is, but they are a new member of the channel here. So if you do want to support the channel, that's a very easy way to do it. If you got a credit card, you don't have Bitcoin, that's a good way to do it, is you can join as a member, as a paid member on the channel here. And there's already perks. There's a bunch of videos that you can watch that aren't available anywhere else on YouTube. But there's going to be more coming. So I think it's like $5 a month. Speaking of Market Anarchy right there, look at that. The last week's new member. Sponsors, we have no sponsors. This channel has no sponsors. We might one day. I'm kind of in the process of coming up with some new ideas, a couple changes. There might even be a new YouTube account. But anytime that I'm talking about Bitcoin stuff, anytime that I'm talking about people's wealth, I don't want to have any sort of influence. I don't want to tell people to buy this product because they're paying me to say that. I think that's incredibly irresponsible. And I've learned that the most important thing in this industry and mostly in life, honestly, but especially in this industry is integrity and trust. And so we have no sponsors. Pretty cool. This whole community, this whole channel has been 100% funded by the community, sponsored by people who enjoy what I talk about, get entertained or educated every day, and feel like they want to give some back. So we got a couple different ways to do it. Of course, you can join as a member. You can scan that QR code. You can send to that RISFOL address at the bottom. And we will be keeping track here as the show progresses. So that's a good way to guarantee your question gets answered if you want to send a zap to the show. The game plan today, we're going to be talking about Bitcoin buying you time in the future. A couple different videos. This is going to be a little bit different than the first 5 that we did. I think this is number 6. We got a couple of videos that I came across that I want to watch as examples. So it's not just me talking my perspective. This is real people out there going through some pain. So we usually have the new segment here. We might do it today. I had some issues with my Excel sheets in the last week where a lot of it got deleted. So I'm in the process of rebuilding those, but we might do a DCA or a DSA at some point. So a couple other things here. The Citadel, I spent 5 episodes actually not talking about the Bitcoin Citadel, which is a pretty big deal for me. It's something I'm part of, help build. And if anybody out there is looking for help with their Bitcoin security, we got a really, really solid group of people. Some of the best minds in Bitcoin that I've come across anyways. We got somebody who lives on a Bitcoin standard who can help you leave the fiat system and move to a Bitcoin standard, and the tools, tricks, tips. We got a couple people who are focused on privacy and sovereignty, whether that's Linux, Start9s, Umbrels, Graphene OS, just becoming more private. Everybody takes on value for value calls too, which means you don't have to pay for like 10 hours up front. You can just book a call and have a chat and then send whatever is worth to you. But make sure you send something, because you don't want to be the person who takes somebody else's time and doesn't send them anything. Unless you really got nothing from it, then I can't really fault you. We also have somebody who's privacy and security expert, not self-proclaimed, but from my eyes, that's what he is. And we have the best way in Bitcoin that I've found anyways to actually store your Bitcoin long-term. That doesn't rely on steel, doesn't rely on paper. It relies on encryption, just like Bitcoin. So if you want a little bit more information about that, you can visit bitcoincitadel.net. And we also got a couple guys in there who are helping spread adoption, helping businesses, and going to be helping a lot more businesses in the future. So that's the group of people that we got there. So with that, I think that's it for the start of the show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend the first, 20, 25 minutes going through lesson number 6. And then after that, we're going to have some time to go through the chats, answer any questions. I kind of want to make this one about Bitcoin security. We haven't really done a themed one yet. So if you have any specific questions relating to Bitcoin security, in terms of like your setup, don't give away too much information, obviously. But if you have any specific questions around Bitcoin security, that would be a really good topic for the second part of the show today. So as I take a sip of my espresso here, let's get the heck into it. So I actually didn't have a whole lot of there wasn't a whole lot of spreadsheets to spreadsheet here. Just a couple things to keep me on track. I just kind of like having this spreadsheet here because I can talk about something, I can type it out. I just feel like that's better than you sitting there and watching me talk. I feel like you can absorb it a lot better if you can actually see it too. So that's kind of the idea here. So lesson number 6 is titled Bitcoin Buys You More Time in the Future. The fiat system is designed to steal your time. Literally what it does, it steals your time. Bitcoin gives it back. And there's a lot of different ways to think about that. There's a lot of examples that you can think of, and I'm going to share a few today. But I really want to start with the COVID print. And if we go back to, I believe it was last show, we talked about this. We talked about the magic number here and why it's impossible to have your time stolen in Bitcoin. It's the best way to preserve your time, and it actually buys you time in the future. And the reason for that is because there's a fixed supply. This is the magic number here. This is the number that I want everybody to get a tattoo of, or at least get a shirt that says this number on it, or write it on your fridge, write it on your bathroom mirror. Let it be a good reminder that no matter what you have, if you have 5 sats, if you have 5 million sats, if you have 5 Bitcoin, nobody can steal that from you. I mean, they could if it's not protected properly. But I mean, nobody can print more Bitcoin and steal your time, your energy, the value that you've provided to the world. Nobody can take that from you, no matter what you have. So this is kind of the example that we started with here. And I think it's important to revisit this because I really believe that this is the most important concept in Bitcoin to understand. And so let's say you have $1 and it's sitting in a bank account, and this is the total supply of dollars out there. And again, these numbers do not matter. This could be 100,000. This could be 1 quadrillion. This could be 1 billion. This could be 1 sextillion. It does not matter. The numbers aren't relevant in this. It's the fact that fiat is printed every day. They print more and more dollars, and they will print forever. And that is not slowing down. In fact, it's actually accelerating, especially since yesterday, I believe it was, they ended their quantitative tightening, which means there's going to be even more dollars flooding into the market, which is very hard to believe, but it's true. So 2 examples here is you got $1 sitting in a bank account, and there's $1,000 out there in supply. That's the total supply today. Same time, you got 1 sat, and the total supply of sats out there is 1,000. And we know that the fiat system is unlimited and unknown, while the Bitcoin network is fixed and known and predictable and transparent. These 2 systems could not be more opposite, honestly. And that's why Bitcoin literally flips everything on its head, because these 2 systems could not be more opposite. So let's use an example here. Let's say that, again, we did this last week, but I think it's important to highlight this. Let's say that the president of the United States thinks that they want to build a new airport in a city. So what do? They don't make everybody pay for it. They don't make all the citizens of America send in a $2 donation so we can fund this new airport. No, they either go into debt or they print more money. And so that supply there, that $1,000 that we started with, all of a sudden we got to print, I don't know, 10 more dollars. We need to build a new airport here. So these 2 numbers here represent your ownership in the network. And that's what it is. If you have any dollars, that's your ownership of that fiat system. People don't really understand that, but that's your ownership of that network, the fiat network. So these 2 numbers are your ownership, this one and this one. So that's good. So they printed 10 more dollars. Now your same $1 that you had in the bank account there, your ownership went down. So now there's a new president in, and he wants to send some money overseas for, I don't know, studies on why turtles only prefer men. That's what the government wants. If you look back in history of the things that the government has funded, that would be at the mid range of crazy. So they print another $50 for the turtles. Your ownership went down even more. And now this time around, the government employees all think that they're underpaid. So what do? Again, the citizens of the country don't send in donations so we can pay the government's more money, the government workers more money. They just either add more debt or they print more money. So now all the government workers want to get paid more. And there's a lot of government workers out there. So what do? They create more money. And what happens? Your ownership of that network goes down. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's this great pandemic that comes through. And we need to pay for all the stickers. I better be careful. I keep forgetting I'm on YouTube here. But this actually happened, so I can't really be faulted with it. But we need to pay for all the stickers. We need to pay for all the signs. We need to pay for all the commercials telling people how dangerous it is. So we're going to go ahead and print 400 more units of this. So this is literally what happened here 5 years ago. So that $1 that you had in that bank account was worth 0.001. Now it's worth 0.00065. And that is what happened to every single baby boomer who retired and had money in the system. They didn't really notice. It's not like they had to send a payment into the government, but their wealth, their ownership of that fiat network went down 35% because they printed so much money. So then let's flip it, because you might say, well, yeah, they're making Bitcoin every day too. True. But at some point, and actually in 10 years from now, there's going to be 1% left for the next 100 years. So we're kind of already past the point of like more supply, but everybody thinks about 21 million anyways. So that's our hard cap. Even though there's only 19.5 million out there right now, the majority of people on the market values it at 21 million. That's what everybody knows. So which means that this number will never go up. 21 million in the real world, 1,000 in this example. But the point is this number cannot and will not go up, which means that whatever you have here, your ownership of that network will never go down. It cannot go down. This system, your value cannot go up because they're not taking dollars out of supply. They're only making more of them every single second of every single day. Your ownership here, this can only go down. This number can only go up. Why? Because let's say that VHF got careless here. I see VHF in the comments here. VHF got careless. He was storing his Bitcoin on a ledger. And somebody figured out a way to hack ledgers. And all of a sudden, he lost his Bitcoin, his sats. What happens to your ownership there? It goes up. As coins get lost, which is the only thing that can happen, we cannot create more. We can only lose keys to the Bitcoin. Your ownership of that network actually goes up. So in the case of what we're talking about today, why this is relevant is because the COVID print essentially stole, what did I say there? 35%? So 35% stolen. And not money, time. Right? Because when people had their pensions in the system, 35% of that was stolen from them. Because whatever they had there was now worth 65% of what it was before. So 35%, let's say that somebody worked 40 years and they had 35% of their wealth stolen from them. How many years did they lose there? How many years did the government steal from baby boomers when they printed all that money? 14. So they worked for 40 and their wealth is now worth 26 years. And we're going to watch an example of a guy who's 88 years old. I'm going to show you in a second here of what happened to him. But this is exactly what happened to every single baby boomer out there. And some of them had assets, yes. And some of those assets went up with the money printer, but a lot of them didn't. And so baby boomers essentially had 14 years of their life stolen. They went to work every day, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, while their kids had hockey and soccer and dance. And they lost 14 years of that because the government printed so much money. That's what the fiat system is. It steals your time. And so what happens? They either got to go back to work or they have to push back their retirement. It steals your time. That's what the fiat system does. So let's watch. Let me take this down for 1 sec. We're going to give, I'll I'm going to watch a video here of, we're going to start with insurance. Because actually, you know what? We're going to start with that guy. And I'm not going to lie. I might have had some watery eyes watching this. This just kind of came up in my feed this morning. It's almost like my phone knows what I'm thinking and what I'm getting ready for. Because it shows me things at the perfect time when I'm trying to prepare for things. So we're going to watch this video here. It's of, and I had an idea here. I don't know if it's going to work out. I got to check my, my guy here. Okay. I got an idea here. It's going to work. Jake, can you just confirm that you're in the chat right now, Jake? Jake from 21 Hats. I got a little idea here. Okay, so let's watch this video though. And hopefully this works. You guys are going to have to let me know hopefully right away if this is or isn't working for the sound, because sometimes it doesn't work on Instagram. But let me share this with you. This is Sam. I believe his name's Sam. So I'm going to start playing this here, and just let me know quickly if you can hear. Just give me a thumbs up or a 4x4, and we'll keep her going here. So this is Sam. This is a perfect example of why the fiat system steals your time.
Thank you. What was your name?
Ed.
I'm Sam.
Okay.
I actually had someone nominate you from this store and said you're very hardworking.
Well, I try to be.
May I ask how old you are?
I'm 88.
And still working?
Yes, I have to.
Why do you have to keep working?
Retired from General Motors in 99. 2012, I went bankrupt, and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago.
7 years ago.
She was sick when I lost my pension.
So you've been struggling a bit?
A little bit.
You said that you lost your pension?
Yes, sir, I did. I was in the Army back in 66.
So you're a veteran too?
Yes. The thing that hurt me the most was my wife was real sick. And they, when they took the pension, they also took the health care coverage.
Yeah.
And all but $10,000 of my life insurance.
Oh my gosh.
So I sold the house, sold the property I had, and we made it through. My wife died 7 years ago. Since then, I've been trying to reestablish myself.
And you're working here how many days a week?
I work 5 days a week, 8 hours a day.
And you do that because you have to, or?
Yeah, I don't have enough income.
What's your dream?
To live somewhat the life I was hoping for.
I'd like to share your story and try and, get people to help you retire.
Well, thank you.
Of course. You're amazing. I want to give you $400 here as a tip. Of course. You're amazing, man. Of course.
I don't know what to say. It goes a long way to help me.
Give you a hug?
Yeah, thank you.
Lots of love. Just seeing if I could have.
Luckily, I watched that first, so I knew it was coming. But the first time I watched that, I definitely had some watery eyes. 88 years old. Good number, but 88 years old. And you might wonder like how that applies to the fiat system. And a lot of different ways. Just the fact that whatever he had built up after all those years of working, what did he say, General Motors? Was it General Motors? The savings that he had built up after all those years, he can't afford to pay for his health care. He can't afford to pay for his wife. He can't afford to pay to live. And that's why life expectancy, to me, in my mind anyways, is what it is. I feel like if we had I really believe that if we had a different monetary system, one that actually stored your value instead of stole it from you, people would live a lot longer. Because what's the point? What's the point of being 70, 80? And not only is your health deteriorating, but you can't afford to do anything. You can't afford to pay for anything. But the thing here, and I think that this is what makes Bitcoin so different than the fiat system, aside from like the money printer, is that what happened there? He got rugged. He got rugged. The company that he worked for, that he spent 80% of his life on, working to try to make them a profit, so their shareholders and their board of directors and their management team could all live like kings. He gets nothing. And what they did there, they took away their pension, they took away the health benefits, they left him with a $10,000 life insurance. That's what he said. I trust him. He seems like a pretty trustworthy guy. But what Bitcoin allows you to do is you don't have to be reliant on anybody else. If you convert your time and energy into Bitcoin, you store it properly in cold storage, nobody can take that from you. Nobody can devalue it. So that's two things. Number one, nobody can take it from you. You're not relying on a third party there that can just say, no, sorry, it's not available anymore to you. And you're not in a system that has the ability to create money out of thin air and make whatever you have worth less than it is today. So my idea, and I just saw in the comments here that they've raised $400,000. His name was Ed. I thought it was Sam. But I thought it'd be kind of cool. And I'm gonna talk about this maybe at the end of this clip here, because I don't want to get too off the road here. But I think we can raise some sats for him. I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. And it doesn't have to be much. I think we can get in touch with this guy, send him Bitcoin, raise a little bit of money today. I had somebody in the chat create a lightning address for him, just so it's not like me doing it. But I think we could raise some sats for him. So I'm going to put his lightning address up after this lesson, and then we can talk about that then. But that is Ed. And the lightning address we made actually says Sam in it, but whatever. I thought it was Sam, but I think Sam was the interviewer guy. But so that's one part of it. That's the pensions. The pensions, the fact that most people are relying on somebody else with their life's work. Like I'm in my mid-30s now, and I have zero intention of taking a dime from the government. Even though I paid into the CPP for 20 years, even if it's there for me, I might convert sats, but at that point it'll be like get a $400 check in the mail and I'll buy 200 sats maybe. So it'll be irrelevant to me. But you never want to rely on somebody else with your life's work. And Bitcoin is the very first asset that allows you to take that into your own hands. Because in that sense, if Ed would have been storing his, I know Bitcoin wasn't around at this time, but this is an example of hard money that nobody can take from you. If he would have been able to put even a fraction of all of his pension, all of his insurance payments, all of everything that he paid throughout his career, a fraction of it, do you think he'd be working at age 88? He probably would have stopped working 30 years ago. And that's the future that we have ahead of us because we have Bitcoin. Ed didn't have Bitcoin. So that's pension. I had another video of, we'll watch it. I'm trying to be kind of conscious of the time here, but whatever. Okay, so let's go to this other video here. This is on Twitter, actually. So again, guys and girls, I see the chats here. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just trying to get through the first lesson here, and then we're going to go through all the chats and everything after the lesson's done. So let's listen to this. This is talking about health insurance. Same kind of thing, same idea, but let's listen to this.
So tell the good people what you were just telling me.
Well, I'm enraged right now. I honestly, I feel like I have to go for a drive. I was looking for health insurance, and on our income, which by the way, we're not rich, it is $1,000 a month for health insurance. Okay. That's expensive as fuck. And on top of that, they make you pay deductibles. So I can choose my $1,000 a month plan, and then I have to pay a deductible, which is around $10,000 a month. This deductible means that the health insurance does not kick in. They don't cover me. I have to pay them $1,000 a month. And then while I'm going to, all these different doctors, I have to pay the total of $10,000 to, like it has to reach $10,000 before my health insurance kicks in. Okay. And then once they so kindly, after I'm paying them $1,000 a month, paying the $10,000 deductible, once they so kindly start paying, then I have to pay, what is it called? Like every time I see a doctor, it's like probably like $100 a month.
Copay.
I have to pay the copay. Every single time I go, which is crazy. So anyway, it basically covers nothing. Like this feels like a scam. Why is it so much? Like the costs have risen. Like I don't know what the exact percentage is, but I remember last year in about the same circumstance, it was like $500 a month, and I'm like, oh shit. And then my health insurance like literally isn't covering anything. It's not covering any of the doctors I went to. I'm paying for, most of my medications, everything else. It's just like literally fucking nuts. Like, how is this okay? How is everybody okay with paying this much for fucking health insurance? And then nobody can get Medicaid unless you're making less than $15,000 a year. Okay. So even 20,000, oh, you're rich. So if you're making 20,000, you're going to still be asked to pay what, like $500, $1,000 for health insurance? That makes no fucking sense. This is insane. We need to get together and tell everyone this is not okay. Why are we just like letting them fucking dom us? Like we're being financially dominated here. This is ridiculous. Like I'm so angry. Anyway, that's it. Look into it yourself if you don't believe me. It is ridiculous.
And we'll come back and explain co-insurance later, which is the fourth part, which is even worse.
You really just wonder how they got away with all this and how people are just okay going along with it. That's what crosses my mind. And I think that the reality is like, okay, well, you have that or nothing. Those were your two options before. You have that or nothing. And then all of a sudden you get a $600,000 medical bill and you're done. You might as well just die. And how many people actually kill themselves because they can't afford to pay their medical bills? So before Bitcoin, those were the two options. You either just went along with that whole scam that she just talked about there, or one thing goes wrong and you're gone, toast, bankrupt. And then you have to worry about that the rest of your life. And you have to go through this and that, or you just kill yourself. And I probably shouldn't be talking like this, but it's just like, oh my God. And not because I'm like worried about it or think I'm going to offend somebody here, but I'm sure there's going to be a warning on my video now about if you are affected by this. Actually, that's what it should say. If you are a victim of the fiat system, you can call this helpline. That's what it should say. Okay, 88 lessons. Here we go. So we went through the insurance there we just talked about. We talked about the pension and the other funds. So I just want to give you like a quick example of the alternatives there. So again, pension, you can get rugged and you will be stolen from. Every dollar they print steals from you. Insurance here. So you can either go along with the scam or die. Harsh, but true. However, we now have a third option here. Third option: store your time and energy in a money they can't print or take from you. Which means that if you're storing your time and energy in Bitcoin, that's up to you. That's your responsibility. And I'm not saying this lightly. Like, people really need to take their Bitcoin self-custody serious, because you could rug yourself essentially. Nobody else is going to rug you, but you could rug yourself. But the point is, this option is there now. And for anybody who's willing to take it seriously, you can actually have a third option here, which is taking it yourself. And so the cool thing about storing your time and energy in a Bitcoin fund is that, number one, it appreciates over time. It buys you time. It's there when you need it. 2, even if you don't need it, it's still yours. Like with health insurance, with life insurance, with all these different scam insurances, you basically, something terrible has to happen in your life for you to be able to use your money. And if I'm a little bit more wound up than usual here, it's because I am. And I apologize for that. I'm not trying to get wound up here. I should probably take a breath, take a sip of my coffee here. But it's yours if you need it. So an example like Ed, like that girl there, they spend their whole lives going to work for somebody else. They make all these payments, let somebody else hold it for them, hope that one day they'll get it back, hope that the government hasn't printed 40% of the money supply so they can actually buy something with it, hope nothing terrible happens in their life, but if it does, they get the insurance paid out. If it doesn't, they get nothing for it. How crooked, corrupt, broken is that? So what you can do, a very simple solution. A very simple solution. And I put other funds here because you can do this for anything. It's the same as if you wanted to pay into like in Canada here, we have a university or a child's savings account. I think it's called Registered Education Savings Plan. So you pay all this money into this fund. The government throws you a couple scraps in there as well. But you actually can't access it unless your kid actually goes to university. So that's education. What if they don't want to go? You just lose that money that you paid for 25 years? Cool. Pets. How many people have dogs, cats? They go to their vet and the vet tells them that the bill's $12,000 to take a nail out of their butt, something like that. Like dental, same kind of thing. And and don't get me started with the optometry industry. These are the kind of topics I usually talk about on the Daily Show because I don't want to be talking about it because I get pretty fired up. But the system is a scam, straight up. It could not possibly be more of a scam. And I don't know how it could be more obvious to people. I really don't. But the simple solution is you set up a fund for your health insurance. You set up a fund for your life insurance. That is really just what Bitcoin is. You set up a fund for your pets insurance. You set up a fund for your kids' university, or they want to start a business. It doesn't matter. The point is, it's your money. You get to keep it. It goes up over time, and nobody can rug you, and nobody can devalue it from you. Set up numerous funds and contribute often. It does not have to be that much. You could literally set up 5 funds, the ones that I just talked about there: health, dental, pet, education. What was the other one? Life. Set up 5 funds. Send $5 per week into these funds. Not only are they going to be worth more than whatever else you're paying into, it's actually yours. Nobody can tell you that you have it or you don't. Nobody can tell you that, whoops, sorry, we took away the pension. Gone. All your benefits that you've been paying into for years, gone. And you know who probably didn't suffer in that whole General Motors blow up, bankruptcy? I guarantee you the board of directors, the executives, the management team, it's people like Ed, the people who are actually doing the work, who got screwed out of that. So take personal responsibility. Of course, this comes with it. This comes with a cost. You have to learn. You have to take some time. You have to figure out what you're doing. You have to learn how to protect that. You have to learn how to, if somebody breaks into your house, how do you keep your Bitcoin? If your house burns down, how do you keep your Bitcoin? You have to learn this stuff. You have to take some responsibility. But the downside, the time commitment is minimal. The upside is tremendous, just like everything in Bitcoin. So I think I had more stuff to talk about there, but that's where I'm going to end it today because I'm pretty fired up and I don't need to be this fired up. I want to live long. So a couple other things here before we go. Again, if you are somebody who wants help with this, I mean, you could literally set up a 30-minute call with me and just say, hey, what should I do here? I got a couple ideas. This is where I buy Bitcoin from. This is the exchange. This is where I have my money. This is what I want to do. How do I do that? BitcoinCitadel.net. I also do daily shows over on Rumble and on Nostr. And if you just search in 88 sats, you'll find it. So we do that every Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. These are the exact conversations we have over there. I kind of have to watch what I say. I try not to swear on here, although that lady dropped about 50 F-bombs there. But 10 a.m. Eastern time, there's always beautiful people in the chat. We're trying to make a difference here. We really are. And that lady said in the video, people need to know this. People need to do something about it. Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. All these shows, all these clips are on my channel in a playlist. So if you want to start from one, if you're just joining us today for the first time, this is number 6. You can go back, you can watch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's going to be 82 more over the next couple of years. So we're doing some deep dives, 88 lessons in Bitcoin. What else? If you would like to support, see the scrolling address there. I'm also going to put some other options if people don't have Bitcoin or they don't know how to use Lightning. I'm also going to have some other options in the pinned comments below. If you do want to support this message, support this channel, and see more of it, good way to do it. We don't have any sponsors here. I talked about that at the start of the show. What else? I think that's it. Oh, and we do replay every Saturday morning. So if you're watching this on Saturday morning right now, good morning. 10 a.m. Eastern time. And that's just this version of it. So I don't put the whole live stream again. It's just the lesson from today. So those replays, and we do like it's called a premiere. So there's people in the live chat. We're all kind of watching it together. So that's it. Hope everybody enjoyed that one. That was, got a little emotional, got a little heated. But, it's serious stuff. How many people in your life have been victims of the fiat system in one way or the other? Everywhere you look, I guarantee every issue that you point to, when you're driving down the road, when you're sitting at your family dinners, whatever it is, every single issue we have in society is caused by one thing. Other human beings being able to print money out of nothing. Because when those dollars get printed, they benefit from it. Everybody else gets stolen from. So fiat steals your time and Bitcoin gives it back. That's the lesson for today. All right. That was a wild one. That absolutely flew by. Look at this. Wow, we got some. Oh no, I thought this was. I was looking at the wrong screen here. I was like, wow, there's a lot of people in Nostr, but it's from the morning stream. Oh, but there is a lot of people in Nostr. Okay, we got Sin Diesel over there. Zapped 18 and 45. Thank you, Sin. Already said that, but Sin deserves 2 shoutouts. Vampire MJ, that's a new face. 84 sats and said, I love it. Rocket. Thank you, Vampire MJ. And Vampire MJ said, Bitcoin is the libertarian's wet dream. 100% it is. Conrad zaps 963 sats and said, sending good energy. Appreciate that, Conrad. Very much. Benjamin, TGFB. Thank God for Bitcoin. 88 sats. Thank you, Benjamin. Aaron says, we live in a hell realm, but we are in a transition period. Agree. Very much agree with that. Very much agree with that. Because again, we didn't have these options before. People, health insurance, they either paid it or they died. Now we have an alternative here. They either gave their money to their company or whoever looked after their pension, or they ended up with nothing. But now we have a third option. And for some people like Ed, they ended up with nothing anyways. So I do agree, Aaron. I think that we are in that transition period right now. We are really what Bitcoiners are doing right now. Bitcoin is going to be available for everybody. Everybody's going to benefit from exactly what we talked about today. It's just that the people who are here today, the people who understand what this asset is and why it's so valuable and are storing their time and energy in Bitcoin are going to be the ones who benefit the most. Why? Because we can buy 1,100 sats, 1,100 units of sovereignty for 1 unit of illusion. Drink element. More salt, not less. If anybody wants to try it, if anybody wants to order some, I do have a referral link for it. I think you get a free sample pack of the different flavors. So if you want the referral link, I'll do it by demand. I won't share it with you unless you ask for it, because I don't want to be spamming people here. So yes, Moravian zapped 1K sats again today. We had the morning show. Moravian zapped 1K, and we got another 1K. Thank you, my friend. Crashing out with no solutions. Yeah, that's what it seems like. All those videos, it's like, hey, stop by 88 lessons every Tuesday. You can learn what's wrong. Well, I shouldn't say that. You can learn what's wrong and also how to fix it. Conrad says, Aaron, we live in hell only because our perception of reality has been so corrupted. The whole world has been hijacked. Agree with that. And Vampire MJ zapped 168 sats. Again, cheers. Thank you, my friend. And the Hick says, I'm here, Jor. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to try this. We're going to try this out here. And if it completely fails, well, at least we tried. So what we're going to do here is it doesn't even have to be that much. I don't know what I'm going to donate myself. And I wanted somebody else to do this with me because I don't want to be the only one responsible for it. I don't want people to think that I'm the one taking these sats. So hopefully what we're going to do here is we're going to wait 1 week. Jake set up a lightning address. I called it Sam, but that doesn't matter. We'll just send them Bitcoin. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to help out Ed. Maybe he won't spend the Bitcoin, but maybe he'll keep the Bitcoin. Maybe Ed has kids. Maybe Ed has grandkids who would benefit from these sats. And even if it isn't that much, Jake and I are going to try to get a hold of that account. We're going to try to send some Bitcoin over, and we will have an update on the show next week for it. So this is what we're going to do. If you want to donate to Ed's BTC stack, send to what's the address, Jake? Is it the one that I told you to get? Was it available? We should have just tried Sam, but I mean his name's not even Sam, so that wouldn't have worked. Jake, is that the address? He might be a little bit behind. He's watching on Nostr right now. I just want to make sure I have the right address before I throw it out there. Okay, he said hold up. So we'll give it a second here. Okay, we got Rocket Rod K said made it home in time to catch the visionary. Spit them facts, Jor. Good to see you, Rod. Rocket Rod. Oh, it's Ed. Wow, okay. Jake beat me to it. He's smarter than me. Okay, so it's Ed88 at rizful.com. And Jake, if you don't mind, just keep an eye out on it. If anybody send in some sats, I'm going to send some to Ed right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a hold of Ed. We're going to use the power of social media here. And again, even if it's not that much, I don't really care. I just think it would be a really cool gesture for us to, as Bitcoiners here, this is something that I think Bitcoiners will be doing a lot more of in the future. But send some sats over to Ed. So ed88 at risful.com. Okay, I'll probably actually, you know what? I'm gonna send Ed 8,888 sats. I was gonna do 888, but that's what we're gonna send Ed here. So if you do feel like sending Ed some sats, we're gonna kick this wallet off with some sats that hopefully he can, even if he doesn't spend, he can keep for his family. Because number one, he's 88 years old, so it felt like the perfect story. But I just feel like it'd be cool to weave Bitcoin into the equation here somehow. And who knows what this will turn into? Maybe I'll do a Nostr post on this later today, and maybe we'll actually raise something significant here. So anybody with a Lightning wallet, if you want to show some love to Ed. Okay, there we go. Payment sent. So, oh, look at that. Actually, I don't want to say that. So what we're going to do here is Jake is going to keep track of the wallet. And we're going to provide an update next week on how many sats we collected and how, and we'll send it over. So we'll give people a week because I want to wait until Saturday show. I'm going to put that in the pinned comments as well for Ed. So keep us updated there, Jake. Oh wow, look at that. Okay, well we got a live tracker on it. We are showing proof of reserves here live on the channel. So we're going to try to get those sats over to Ed. Like I said, we're going to give it a week. But I think that'd be really cool. Benjamin said, Zap sent to Uncle Ed. Hopefully he subs to your channel for the knowledge download too. Well, yeah, maybe you won't be working anymore, so he'll have some time during the day. You can learn about how to store his Bitcoin. Imagine if we had Ed on the show one day for one of the lessons. What a legend. Absolute legend. Veteran in the Navy, I think he said. Production line worker. And the poor guy's work until he's 88 years old. Sickening. Anyways, thank God for Bitcoin. Okay, let's get to some comments here. I'm not going to be able to get through all these because there's a lot, and I saw some nonsense from some people that I don't really appreciate. So I'm just going to completely ignore them. So basically what they're doing is they're wasting their own time and energy themselves. But Stocks, look at this. Stocks says, love the 88 lessons of Bitcoin. Smash the like button. Thank you, Stocks. We got Ian here. Cleaning Machine. We got Sin. We had Alaskan Wolf. I don't think he stuck around for the lesson today. I think he's probably trolling in more YouTube comments, but who knows? Solar Satoshis is here over on Rumble. God bless. 10-hour dipshit. I think you're a little bit more than that, Solar Satoshis. So, I mean, at this point of the show, I got a couple more things I do want to talk about here. But if you have any questions, anything you want to discuss, just throw it in the chat and we'll hopefully get to it. We got Dean. We got Cannon. Cannon, I got to get back to you today, man. I saw your email. I just haven't responded to it yet. That's on my agenda today. Spend 100 hours learning about Bitcoin is the only solution to the inflation problem of fiat. 100%. Ooh. Okay. I misread this. Toasty Toast says, I'm 80% Bitcoin, 10% strategy, and 10% other. However, I think once the blocks available drop to a handful a year, no one is going to want to mine or secure the network, especially after. Ooh. Come on, man. That's, you're looking at it the wrong way. Think about it this way. Think about how many people at that point are going to be mining. How many people have infrastructure built? how many stranded energy use cases. I mean, we're not even in the first inning yet here, toasty toast. Every natural resources on this planet is going to be hooked up to Bitcoin mining. Why? Because it's the only thing in human history, it's the only discovery in human history that allows you to take heat from a volcano, turbulence from waves and waterfalls, wind, solar from the sun, from the pull, the gravitational pull. Convert those natural resources into money directly. You don't need a middleman. You don't need to find a buyer for the energy. You convert those natural resources directly into money. And think about how much infrastructure is going to be set up over the next 20 years, 50 years, 100 years. And think about how few sats they're actually going to be fighting for. That doesn't tell me that the Bitcoin network's in trouble. That tells me that the sats that we have today are going to be worth 100, 1,000 more X what they are today. And after the 21 million's mined, that's when the game starts, because then people will be mining. All that infrastructure will be going only to mining for transaction fees. So think about how much the transaction fees have to be worth. Think about how much a SAT is going to be worth at that time. The last 40 years in Bitcoin, there's going to be one single Bitcoin mined. From the year 2100 to 2140, there's going to be one single Bitcoin mined. So that's why I say it does not matter how much Bitcoin you have today. The only thing that matters is that you're here, you're learning. You're not going to sell when the price goes up or when the price goes down. You're going to learn how to protect those sats. And if you can somehow transport those sats into the future and hold on to those, unimaginable wealth, because all the incentives align for it. Bitcoin mining is going to be the thing that takes us from the very basement, the bottom level of the Kardashev scale, to the next level, because we can actually utilize natural energy here before. Governments in the world ran on human resources before, which means that humans would have to go to work in order to pay taxes so governments could fund themselves. They're done. Not only are robots and AIs replacing humans now, and those resources are tightening up, now we have natural resources that's going to fund everything into the future. So that's why when the president of the United States right now talks about getting rid of income taxes because of tariffs, it's not because of tariffs. It's because his administration is forming partnerships with Bitcoin mining companies. And just like Alaska gets oil revenues, royalties, all the citizens of Alaska get oil royalties. Every citizen in a country who's taken Bitcoin seriously, which would be the United States, they're going to get Bitcoin mining royalties. And nobody's going to pay income tax anymore because we won't need them. When you can convert things that are already happening on this planet into money, and that's what Bitcoin mining does, you don't need humans anymore to work for that. Those resources are converted directly into money. And if this is the first time that you've heard of that or have thought about this, spend some time, because that is a very, very powerful thing that's been unleashed on the world. Incredibly. Look at this. Jake says we got 21,888 sats for Ed. Let's go. What can we get that number to? What can we get that number to? God, that's good. Benjamin says, love the hat today, Jor. That's a new style. I'll have to get an order in soon. Yeah, it's pretty nice, eh? I mean, it's kind of limited to for golfers only, but I love the design of it. Big fan. Yeah, brand new. Pretty much fresh off the shelf. Stock says, I've made mistakes. Leverage in shitcoins have made me lose sats. Never again. We will be dead when the 21... maybe. That's what I'm telling. Well, think about this. This might be a long episode today. We'll see. I feel like I'm in a mood. But think about this. What is the main cause of death right now for people? cancer, heart disease, other illnesses. But what causes all that? And it's not the sun. Trust me, I got a huge scar from here to here on my chest because I had melanoma. I had skin cancer. And it's not because of the sun. It's because of, well, number one, chemicals that block the sun. That's a pretty big part of it. But the other thing is stress. People go into their jobs that they hate for 80% of their life and then watching their savings, whatever they built up, vanish. What ruins marriages? What causes crime? What reduces the food quality? It's all based on the fiat system. And it's what stresses people out. It's what makes people unhealthy. And do you really think that they don't have a cure for all this stuff? Do you really believe that? So we're moving into a different world. Plus, you combine that with the technological advances that are coming. I think humans are going to live, I don't know about as long as they want to, but we're moving into a different world. That's what people really need to understand more than anything else. People need to know that we're moving into a completely different world. And the better that you can start preparing yourself for it now, the better off you're going to be. All right, we got Lauren here. I'm fired up today. I'm freaking fired up. Okay, what do we got here? Ian's got all caps. Hey, Joe, I'm trying to pay CoinKite with sats from my Aqua. Can I do lightning payment because it's over 100K for payment? Ooh, Ian's getting some security. You should be able to. I would probably use on-chain for that, though. I just don't really trust the Lightning Network for that high of an amount. But in Aqua, you could essentially just flip that directly from L2. If you have it on Lightning, you can convert it to on-chain and then make a payment from that. So the nice thing about Aqua is you could do either one. You could pay in Lightning or you could pay in on-chain. I would probably do on-chain though, Ian, if it was me. Jory, your Rumble is showing. Yeah, I know. I need to be a little bit more careful. Wow, look at this. Jake says we got 30,755 sats for Ed. People are showing up today. People are showing up. VHF is here. Okay, we're going to give, I usually just ignore this dipshit, but we're going to give him one shot, see what he says, or she, but that's it. One thing Maxis never talk about is if the dollar extincts, how does the distribution of Bitcoin occurs? How would my employer pay me? Where would the Bitcoin come from? Like, that's just such an archaic thing to say. Like, that is literally somebody out of the Keynesian school of economics. In order for anything to grow, we need more money. We need to print money. Otherwise, nothing will happen. Nobody will do anything. And actually, that's a really interesting experiment that I've been thinking about. Let's walk through this Bitcoin, baby. As much as I think you're dipshit, you actually have some decent questions. This is a good one. So think about this experiment, though. I shouldn't say it's a good one. It's really backwards and somebody who clearly doesn't understand economics at all. But who am I to judge? But think about this experiment. Let's say that Bitcoin failed. Okay. Bitcoin, as we know it, failed. Somehow quantum got snuck way ahead of us. Quantum started creating little quantum babies and they went to everybody's house and stole all of their Bitcoin. Or it just got hacked. The Bitcoin network got hacked. And we said, okay, well, this protocol works pretty good. It's been proven to work pretty good. The value of it has gone from 5 cents to over $100,000. So people clearly think that there's something here. So we can take this protocol, we can make a new one. We'll call it Bitcoin 2. But this time, everybody's going to get an equal amount. Okay? So we got Bitcoin 2. 21 million coins. Doesn't matter. It could be 21 billion. But we're just going to go with 21 million again. everybody gets equal distribution. Everybody's equal. I actually wanted to write a book about this called Equal and just play through the whole scenario here. I still might. But everybody gets an equal distribution of it. So I think everybody would end up with like 200,000 sats. We'll just go with that number for simplicity. Okay. So this brand new currency is created. Everything's fair. But because everybody only has 200,000 sats, what do you think a house would cost? That's number one. What do you think a house would cost? If all the houses were just empty and there was a little sign in front of each piece of property, each house, that said, this property is worth this. If you would like to bid on it, scan this QR code and you can pay for it. Okay. Stay with me here. So everybody has 200,000 sats in their wallet. Every person who's 1 year old, 88 years old, everybody got 200,000 sats, equally distributed. Each property has a little QR code you could scan. What do you think the properties would cost? Well, they might be 100,000 for a house, 100,000 sats, which you could buy for $100 today. They might be 150,000 sats, or maybe people are like, well, we don't know what's going to happen next, so we're only going to bid 5,000 on this house, 5,000 sats, which you can buy for $5 today. 5 units of illusion today. But that's only part of it, right? Because even though everybody has the same amount, what's going to happen there? What happens next? Once everybody gets a house, everybody puts in their bid. Some may be overpaid. Some maybe joined up with somebody else and said, hey, we have 500,000 sats now. There's 3 of us together. We're going to buy this mansion. We're going to live here. You might think, okay, well, they're screwed because they don't have, now they only have 100,000 sats left, right? They had 3 people, total of 600,000 sats. They pooled their money together and they bought a mansion for 500,000 sats. So you might think, well, they're screwed. They only got 100,000 sats left for the rest of their life. Well, number one, nobody's printing money. So those units, as more and more people start producing things, the value of those goes up. The price of everything else goes down. That's a fair market. That's how the world should be without a central bank system. But then what happens after that? Well, maybe those 3 guys, maybe they, one was a lawyer, one was a doctor, one was a nurse. So they have actual skills. They have value that they can give to the world. So what's going to happen? Well, maybe somebody falls and breaks their leg going down a hill at their new house, tobogganing. Doctor comes around, puts the arm in a cast, and says that'll be 5 sats. Okay. So what happened there? That value, those sats, the value transferred for somebody who had a broken arm to somebody with skills, to somebody who adds value to the world, a doctor in this case. Maybe the doctor and nurse split the 5 sats. But then what happens from there? This is the last part of this, because this is, I know it's a long story, but this is, I think, an important thought experiment for people to think through. What happens next? And I'm actually going to clip this so I can maybe include it as part of my story from my book. But what happens next from there? People start making things. People start growing things. This piece of property has really good soil, so they're able to grow a bunch of food. So they're adding value to the world. People are going to come around. Hey, how much for that box of potatoes? 1 sat. All right. What if I just want 2 of them? What if I just want 2 potatoes? 2 microsats. What's a microsat? That's the point of this. This is where it goes back to. Is that it does not matter. You don't need to create money for the economy to work. That's a lie. That's the biggest lie that they told you. Because when people are adding value to the world and you have a currency that's fixed, a sat is just a unit of measurement. Because when you start cutting it in half, all of a sudden, those 2 microsats were 2 potatoes, and you start revaluing things, repricing things with this new measurement, which is fixed, which is known, which is predictable, that people can rely on and people can fairly value things against. You don't need to create money for the economy to continue working. If something's worth this, but we only have a unit called a SAT, it'd be very similar like going into a grocery store with a gold coin right now, right? The gold coin's worth $4,000. Unfortunately, with gold, you can't shave it. But with a SAT or a Bitcoin, you can. You can create smaller versions of that. So the world will continue working. If people are adding value, so in this case, your employer, if the business is actually adding value to the world, they're going to be being paid in sats. People are going to pay them. And then you take out the governments out of this, and the governments aren't subsidizing businesses who are climate change friendly or whatever the hell it is. I keep forgetting I'm on YouTube. God, I hate that I have to watch what I say. The government isn't choosing winners and losers. It's called a value-added economic system. Value-added economic system does not require money printing to work. If you're providing value, people are going to pay you for your skills. If you're not, you have to pay other people to do that for you. That's a free market. That's a value-added economic system. And I know we've been brainwashed into the Keynesian nonsense. So I don't blame you. I went to school for 4.5 years and then 2.5 years for my master's of accounting, my CPA. And I never learned any of this stuff there. I had a minor in economics and I learned none of this stuff. We were talking about different things in different parts of the world and how they tie together and the supply over here, demand, why we need more money. It's all bullshit. But then you go back to the incentives. Who funds the universities? Who creates the curriculums? You might say I'm buzzing today. Maybe it's the 2 shots of espresso that I threw in here today. We're going to call the 2 shots of espresso my thinking juice. Because when I have 1 shot of espresso, nothing really happens. But I had 3 shots the other day, and I was literally vibrating for like 5 hours. That was the first time I ever had espresso, I think, other than like martinis. But we got an espresso machine here. Not an espresso, but an espresso machine. And, lost my cap. Okay. Let's keep it rolling here. Maybe we'll save the 2 shots of espresso for Tuesdays. Ooh, Tuesdays for 2 shots of espresso. All right. How's Ed doing here? We getting any more sats there, Jake? We got a couple here. We got 21 from Matt FRL. Good man, Matty. We're raising some money for Ed. Okay, I'm going to scroll through some comments here because I want to see what people have to say about that. I wonder if Bitcoin Baby's still around. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Jory, you still didn't answer the question. Yes, I did. Where will the employee, you just didn't listen to it. I just literally answered. I know it took a while to get there, but you can't, it's not just like clearly, it's not simple for people to understand since you don't understand. So I had to get through it there. But that's, no, I was on topic the whole time because I was explaining to you what a value-added economy looks like where people don't have the ability to print money. That was the whole point of the story. Anyways, Bitcoin Baby clearly, has a decent understanding of things, but him and the Alaskan wolf there, whatever his name was, those are 2 literal examples of the Dunning-Kruger effect. You guys ever see that chart? The Dunning-Kruger effect? This is wrong thing there. It's people who who spend like 5 minutes looking into something and then think that they're experts on the subject matter. And so their confidence shoots up. They think that they know everything about it. And then they get put in their place and they realize, hey, I really know nothing about this topic. Right here, let me bring it up here. This is Bitcoin Baby, and this is the Alaskan White Wolf, or whatever his name was. Where their confidence is sky high. Confidence is sky high. They think in their head, they think that they know everything about it. Peak of Mount Stupid, it's called here. So I wish I could have a little drawing here. If you could zoom into this, you'd see Bitcoin Baby right here, and you'd see the Alaskan Wolf right there at the top of Mount Stupid. And I'm not saying they're stupid in general. I'm saying when it comes to understanding Bitcoin, they are very stupid. So their peak, their confidence is high. And then all of a sudden they tune into a 88 lesson show and they get back to the valley of despair where they should be because they know nothing. They have very low competence in this subject here. So they're in the valley of despair. And then if they want to, they can show up for lesson number 7, lesson number 8. They can actually start understanding it instead of just being so negative and ignorant with everything. And then they'll actually have confidence and competence over time. I don't know if I can get through all these. Oh, wow, look at this. I actually got to give a shout out here to the Alaskan Wolf. The comment won't come up, though. What the hell's going on? Oh, there we go. Alaskan Wolf says, Jor, coming back to your statement about stress, do you honestly think that in an ideal world, people will be living stress-free lives? Yes. I do. People will always have something to worry about. Why? I mean, it's not going to be like you're talking about a fantasy land where nobody has any sort of stress. But what's the main cause of stress? I would think that 99% of the chat would agree with this, that it's financial. And if you don't think it's financial, you might say, well, it's marital stress, relationship stress, work stress. Well, why? Why are you fighting in your marriage? Probably about money. And if it's not about money, it's probably the underlying theme there that's been building up. And one person's working harder. One person's having to buy this. One person has a very short temper because of all the stress at work, because he's having to work harder and harder, more hours to keep the same quality of life that they had before. So he's spending away from the kids. They're letting the government raise their kids. The kids are swearing. The kids are being little shits. Husband's mad. Wife's trying to cook meal. She burns it. They start fighting. Everything around that is to do with money. Jor, that's not how the world works. Everyone will not win in with Bitcoin. Yes, they will. Some people will just win more. But think about this. Bitcoin is a solution to a problem for 8 billion people. Why? Because every single person on this planet wants to be able to store whatever value that they've accrued properly. And Bitcoin is by far the best battery for that. And that's going to be a future lesson here. But it solves the problem for 8 billion people. So not everybody might win, but they're going to lose a lot less than they are right now. Again, you guys are thinking about that I'm talking about like this utopia. And I think that maybe one day we'll get there. But in the short term, if you take away the ability for other people to print money, everybody's life gets better. Plain and simple. Other than the people who are right beside the money printer, other than the employees who are working for the governments and doing nothing, other than the businesses who are carbon neutral and getting payments to keep their business afloat that should have died 5 years ago. But everybody else who's actually adding value to the world is going to win on a Bitcoin standard because nobody can devalue them. Go back and watch the show from the start again when we're comparing two systems here. One steals your time, one adds time to your balance. One system only goes down your ownership, one system only goes up. Like, this isn't really that hard to understand. It's just so much different than the world that we're used to. Yeah, it very much removes the incentives for people to go to war. Because again, if you think back to the First World War and the Second World War, how were those paid for? By printing money. Because if they would have said, hey, you know what, there's some people out here doing things we don't like, we're going to go blow them up. Do you guys mind if you send us $50 each to fund this war? What do you think people would say? So what do? They print money. You cannot print Bitcoin. Two totally different things. See, this is the problem. And I know I shouldn't be feeding this, but I really think that a lot of people share these same thoughts and sentiments. So it's important to talk through this stuff. Everyone will win and some people win more. Yes, this statement right here. Eventually, people will want to be in that category of winning more. How do you not get this, Jar? Oh my God. Alaskan Wolf, nothing will ever be completely fair. Nothing will in any system. Right? But right now we have two different options. We have a system where you could store your energy where other people have the ability to print more units of those and steal from you. And you have a system, Bitcoin, where nobody has that ability and therefore is a solution to a problem for all 8 billion people. And just because people out there, nobody's ever going to be equal. That's why I actually talked about that story, because even if everything was equally distributed from day one, eventually the people who are actually adding value to the world would get the value. That's how That's how a free market works. That's how a value-added economic system works. Is if you have skills, if you put in work, if you add value to the world, value flows back to you. You're talking about communism, man. If you think everybody should be equal, everybody's equal. Everybody's in prison in a communist country. Like, what am I missing here? You're telling me that I don't get it? I know I'm not trying to waste time here, and I appreciate everybody sticking through this. But again, I'm only going through this stuff because I really believe, and I've talked to people like this. This is why I'm having these conversations. I've had real life interactions with people who have these exact same thoughts. And it's important to understand why they're wrong. I know I'm not trying to feed it here. Yeah, I know. But I really think that the thing is like, why are they still here? Like, I actually appreciate Bitcoin Baby's just a complete freaking the definition of a dipshit. But Alaskan Wolf here, whoever this guy is, like, stuck around for the show, asking legitimate questions. But I didn't really like this part here. How do you not get this? You know, when you say things like that, it's like, yeah, in your world that you see things through, in your lens of the world, of the fiat system, nothing that I am saying right now makes any sense. That's the whole point. Right? That's the whole point. In your mind, because you haven't been able to rewire your brain yet to move from fiat to Bitcoin, everything that I'm saying right now makes no sense. And that's literally how it should be. Until you get to a point of understanding in Bitcoin, nothing that I'm saying right now will make any sense, because you are brainwashed and programmed into believing that we need to print money so that the economy can function, and everybody has to have the equal amount of things for society to function properly. That is not reality. That is not a free market. That is a controlled, corrupt, secretive BS system. And yeah, we grew up in that. I agree with this. Sin. Humans will always have a desire. No matter how great life is, they will always find a problem. On a Bitcoin standard, there will just be less problems and stress. Good way to put it. Agree with that. I mean, they are probably trolls, but again, These are literal questions that people have. So I do think they're important to address. And this is what the show is for. If people want to take their time and energy to show up, we'll talk. Look at this. We got 41,784 sats for Ed. Man, if that doesn't tell you all you need to know about what kind of people are in Bitcoin, man. Let me update that. Current total, 41,784 sats, I should put, I guess. So you know what? I kind of got frustrated there when the guy said that, what am I not understanding here? But the reality is that it's just, I'm living in a different world. And you know, it's funny because I've told this story before on the Daily Show, but you know, there's a fraction of people that would have watched that before here. But I was having a conversation with a guy one night over a couple beers. And it was very similar to this, where felt like I was making really solid points and arguments and reasoning and logic. And then they would just throw something else in there about what about this? Or, well, that's not equal for everybody. Or what about this subset of people? And it's like, I finally just said, I understand why you don't get what I'm talking about right now, because you and me are literally living on two different planets right now. And the fact that nothing I'm saying makes sense to you tells me everything that I need to know. And that's probably a compliment to me, because that means that I'm very far removed from that system that's full of evil and cancer and corruption and all that. It's a good thing for me. Because I literally even though we're walking on the same physical planet, our minds are in two different spots. And maybe Bitcoin Baby, maybe the Alaskan Wolf, if they actually want to put in some time and understand this, they might get there one day, but they're just not there yet. So whatever. Again, I know that they're maybe trolls, maybe they're not, but the point is like there's a lot of people out there who actually share these same thoughts because I've talked to them in real life before. So I'm going to go back here. I see Praetorian here, one of our Bitcoin journeymen and a very big supporter of the show, with 2 shots of espresso here. And there it is right there. Praetorian, our guy. 10,000 sats. He said, kind regards, Praetorian. Thank you, my friend. Oh, I missed one here too. Ian, Cleaner Machine, BitTails. The man, he sent 2,500 sats. Thank you, Ian. I missed that. Sorry, buddy. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you. And there we go. So we got Ed's balance. There's 41,784 sats. And we're going to have an update on that next week for how much we got and how much we delivered to Ed. Hopefully it works out. I guess the other part too, Jake, you should be able to see who donated, right? The other part is that if we can't actually donate these sats, if it's too much friction or whatever, we'll just do a draw. We'll do a draw for everybody who contributed to the fund. So if you contributed any amount, you'll have your name in your draw. If we can't get these sats to Ed, Jake and I aren't going to keep them. So that's what we'll do. We'll do next week. Okay, I missed a lot of comments here. So I guess I feel like there was a lot of I don't want to spend the whole time reading. I'm going to do a quick scroll for any comments with oh, look at that. We got a zap. EGN Pope just zapped 1,000 sats. Thank you, EGN Pope. God bless. Okay, so I'm going to go through the chat here and look at that comment. BTC. Nice. I like it. And see if there's any ones for caps. Solar. I don't know what point I was preaching it, but I feel like I did a lot in this show today. Infinite Jack. Stacking sats is a Ponzi call. There you go, buddy. You got your name on the screen. That's what you're looking for, right? What else here? Any caps? Any caps? Look at this. We got Sedge from Alberta. Boom, boom. You look stressed out, Jor. I'm actually really not. Thanks, Ian. It just stresses me out thinking about really how much people are struggling right now, and how they are completely unaware to what we know. It's stressful to me. That's why we show up every day here, not once a week or once a month or whatever it is, or charging people. We show up here every day. Such as also want to give a shout out to Hash Power Academy on YouTube. Yes, that is a great channel if you're actually interested in learning more about Bitcoin. Ed is now living in the future. Yes, that's right. What else we got here? Look at this. Alaskan Wolf was here the whole time. Shout out to Alaskan Wolf. Okay, I need like a moderator here almost. One of our members here, Santino. Good to see you, buddy. Okay, we're almost caught up here, I believe. Praetorian we saw. Bitcoin baby still spewing nonsense. Not listening, just talking. Clearly is a baby, yeah. Baby is the dipshit of the day, 100%. Bitcoin baby usually is the dipshit of the day. And they must get some sort of, they get their rocks off listening to somebody say their name on YouTube. Okay, so Jake said, yes, we got notes on some of them. Okay. So whoever had, I guess, whoever's name was on there, if we don't end up getting the sats to Ed, we will, we'll do a draw for it next week. Yeah, this is such a great point from Austin here. Such a great point from Austin here. He says, the great thing about this argument is that time will tell. If you're a fiat peddler, you are guaranteed to lose value over time. 100%. That's the thing. It's like everybody likes shitting on Bitcoin, but they're just like okay with the fiat system. It's like, what if Bitcoin fails? Well, what if it does? What if Satoshi's government? What if it is? We know that fiat is going to fail. We know that value in fiat is going to go down forever, and everything attached to it, including bonds, stocks, real estate, everything's going to go down. We know that. It's a certainty. We also know that the government created fiat. We know that for sure. So it's like, maybe Bitcoin goes to zero. Maybe Bitcoin was created by a government. Maybe it was. I haven't seen any proof of that. So it's like, we know one thing for sure, and people just think one thing, but they're still defending the one that we know is losing value forever and was created by a government. That's what they're defending. It actually makes no sense. Jet says, spent some Bitcoin to cover some expenses on Thanksgiving. Money was available immediately, but I had to wait until today to have it accessible in my bank account. Whole process added to my conviction. Yeah, that's what a lot of people miss too, apart from everything. And that might be a future episode. But just the fact that you can store your value there, and at any moment, because it's a global network, because it has global liquidity, which means that somebody in my local town might want it, but also somebody in Ukraine might want it, or somebody in Tokyo might want it. So if I put that up for sale, I'm not restricted to borders. I'm not restricted to my local area. If I want to sell Bitcoin, there's going to be somebody who wants to buy it, which, if you understand anything with money and currency and value, that's a pretty important aspect of it. Global liquidity. And there's literally still people out there who think that you can't sell Bitcoin. You just buy it and you can never sell it. Like, that's how misunderstood the asset is. And therefore, and I think this is the most important part of this whole conversation here, which is that because there are so many people who misunderstand Bitcoin, because it's so incredibly, just people are so wrong about it. It's so not even close to anything in Bitcoin. It just goes to show you how misvalued it is, how mispriced it is. The world's trying to tell you that one Bitcoin is only worth $90,000. In my eyes, one Bitcoin today is what is worth well over $10 million. And again, you might say, well, Jor, you're a dipshit. The market's willing to pay $90,000 for it today. Yes, but there's less than 1% of the population who actually understands what this asset is. And so if nobody understands it, how could it possibly be fairly valued? And so you say, well, Jor, where'd you get 10 million from? And we're going to talk about this maybe next week or the week after. But if you look at gold, gold's the closest competitor to Bitcoin. And the market cap of gold is 10 times the amount of Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin and gold were fairly valued 1-to-1, if that's what the world, if there was enough people who understood Bitcoin and it was fairly valued 1-to-1, Bitcoin would be worth $1 million per coin right now. If you said Bitcoin and gold, two in the same, potato, same shit, different pile. 1-to-1, Bitcoin's worth $1 million today. But in my mind, Bitcoin is 100, 1,000, 10,000 times more valuable than gold. Why? Because we're moving into a digital age. Because you don't need anybody to store it for you. Nobody can take it from you, Bitcoin. Also, there's a big difference between something that's pretty scarce, like gold, and something that's absolutely scarce, like Bitcoin. So that's why even though the market's telling you that Bitcoin is worth this much today, in my eyes, based on what I just said, Bitcoin's worth well over $10 million per coin today. And so the fact that you can trade one fiat dollar that can be printed out of thin air for 1,100 units of absolute scarcity, yeah, we're buzzing today. You might say we're rolling. I'm running out of steam though here. I mean, I can keep going, but I don't really want this to turn into a 3-hour. I see a good question here though. And here's the thing about people like, we'll use Bitcoin baby, because at least Alaska it seems like he's like trying to understand it a little bit here. Bitcoin baby is just a straight up troll. Gets his rocks off by listening to somebody else say his name. But it's like, that's the thing for me is like, imagine taking your most precious resource, which is your time. Because we know how many sats there are out there that will ever exist, right? 2.1 quadrillion sats, 21 million Bitcoin. We know that. We can't make more of it. With our time, we know that it's finite, but we don't know how many seconds or units in this case we have left. Somebody might be driving down the road right now listening to the stream. Semi-veers off the road. Maybe some guy just got in a fight with his wife. He had 12 beers today driving down the road. Head-on collision, done. We don't know how much time we have here. It is absolutely the most scarcest resource that we have. More scarce than Bitcoin. Because at least Bitcoin, we know how many Bitcoin there are. In our lives, our time, we don't know how many seconds we have or units we have. And people are taking time out of their they're using up their most scarce resource to hang out in a YouTube chat and try to troll other people. Like, what a waste. What a waste. It just doesn't even make sense in my head. If I'm ever in a YouTube chat, it's because I actually want to learn. I want to be there. I want to support them. And that's how 98% of people are here. Supportive. Not a troll. Okay. There was an actual good comment here. Where was it? Few and far between, I know. In nature and natural law, no one is equal. Bingo. Bingo, 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 bingo. That's the best way to put it. That's better words than I could come up with. Bingo. Sin says one thing to consider is the fact that there were wars before fiat. I think it will humans many generations. It will take humans many generations to not respond their biological desire to want to get more of something than the next person. Agreed. But there's a big difference between actually using the resources that you have to fight somebody, because there's a real reason for that. Like if I wanted to go to war with somebody and I felt it was worth my Bitcoin, something that can't be printed, there's a real reason for that. And I don't know about you, but if you actually look at some of the history, I think we've been lied to a little bit in terms of what actually caused the wars. Banker wars are different than somebody fighting over something. Bankers wars, the people who print the money, they win. The people who sell the equipment for the war, they win. The shareholders who owns the company of those guns and other things, they win. Everybody else loses. They're not real wars. And some people might disagree with that, but that's okay. So I agree with you, Sin. I agree with, like, there will be fights. There will be forever. But they'll actually be for something. They won't just be a reason to print more money and kill more people. And also the other thing I would say to that is we've never actually had something like Bitcoin before. So it's really hard to tell what's going to happen. What else here? Hopefully, Ed, don't panic sell. Yeah, no doubt. SAS should come with a lesson plan. Okay, we got a question here from Josh. I don't know if Josh is still here or not after all the stuff we did. I mean, these are good conversations, though. They really are. I think, anyway. Some people might not like listening to them, but that's the free market. You can just leave if you don't like it. All right, Josh says in a multi-sig setup, 2 or 3, do you store your metal backups with your sign devices? No, never. Or do you now have 6 items to keep track of? I mean, the reason why you have the steel or the metal is in case something happens to the device, right? So if something were, in that case, if you're storing your seed phrase and your device in the same place and something happens to that place, kind of defeats the purpose of the recovery phrase. So with that, I mean, it's a little bit different in a multi-sig. I think there's different ways you could do this. Maybe you could keep all the backups in one place, but then maybe you have a passphrase on all 3 of them. There's many different things to think about. I think honestly, it's best to set up a call, and because it really depends on like your threat model. It depends on how many people you have in your life that you trust. Because yes, ideally, having 6 places to leave these would be the best. But the reality is that a lot of people just don't have 6 people in their life that they trust. So with that, there's ways you can work around that in terms of adding a passphrase to them. But then that's another thing you have to store somewhere else, and there's ways to do that. I actually don't keep any metal backups myself because I think that metal is too easy to read. Somebody comes across your metal plate, they now have your Bitcoin because it's written in plain text. So you want to encrypt those if you can. Then you have encrypted backups. You have an encrypted device. You're fully encrypted. And you should have all of those geographically dispersed, not at your house. If you're taking this stuff seriously. There's a long path to get there. But yeah, I mean, honestly, Josh, probably the best thing to do would be just set up a call. We can chat about it because there's plenty of different things. Hey, Sats Oil's here. Sats Oil. Hold on, I want to check something here. My content. Okay, we are. I don't know why Rumble's not really working for me. Is anybody watching this on Rumble? Oh yeah, there's a couple people on Rumble. Live chat's not working. Hopefully, maybe that's why YouTube is more popular today. Actually, YouTube always is. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, Stock says many people still think Bitcoin is a gamble. I feel safer in Bitcoin than fiat. How brainwashed are these people? I mean, that's literally what it is. You have a fiat system. They spend 100 years trying to keep all this information from people, because if people actually found out this information, then they would uprise. There'd be upheaval, and that's what we're going right now. The nice thing about Bitcoin is we don't have to go with pitchforks and other things. We can just simply take our time and energy out of that system, take our value out of that system, hold it in Bitcoin, store the keys ourselves, and we don't have to worry about anything else. It's a peaceful revolution, my friend. Bitcoin is full of what ifs. Fiat is full of what was and what is. 100%. It's objective. It's objective. If less than 1% understand, then it failed. Why is it taking 16 years for the world to understand? How long did the internet take for people to understand Bitcoin, baby? How many years did it take the internet to go to become mainstream? Ian says, here in my city, we have a bank called Bow Valley Credit Union. Legends. They have Bitcoin accounts. I'm going there in a few minutes to open up an account. I'll let you know how it went tomorrow. Let's go. Actually, Bow Valley was the only credit union in Canada who actually had full reserves. And they were actually into gold. They held gold for their reserves before Bitcoin. This is a legendary credit union. If you're in Alberta, you should 100% be checking out Bow Valley. They're legends. I'm here to take value and give value, my man. Jay Brucker says, what is the cost for a 30-minute phone call to discuss multi-sig security? Can we pay you in Bitcoin? Absolutely. You think I'd be having these conversations and not accept Bitcoin? I'll get you the link, actually. I shouldn't just sit here and bend my peak. So I actually have an option for 30-minute calls, which is called value for value, which is you can set up the call, we can chat, and you can send me whatever you think it was worth to you. And definitely in Bitcoin. Bitcoin preferred, not demanded yet. One day maybe. But Bitcoin is definitely preferred. There, I just threw it in the chat there for you. What do I think about index funds? Liam, I'm guessing you could imagine what I think about index funds. Diversification. You're diversifying in a world of illusion. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's just that actually, if I didn't have Bitcoin, I probably would be invested in index funds. But if Bitcoin didn't exist, I probably would be in index funds, and not because it's diversified, just because you can outpace inflation, I guess. If that's like your main goal in life, if you just want to be an average person, index funds are great. You're going to get 7-8% a year, a little bit higher, maybe lower than inflation, depending on what year we're talking about here. But if you want to live an average life, then yeah, index funds are great. Much better than like a GIC. But because Bitcoin exists, why would you have any money in an index fund? If you're looking for something a little bit safe, look at Stretch from Strategy. Pays like 10.5% monthly, I think. Dividends. Better than an index fund. Yeah, exactly. Think about that. Imagine if the stock market valued with sats. Ow. You ever have just like random, maybe no, people have that. Like a ringing in your ear. What is that? What causes that? But yeah, I mean, NVIDIA itself is worth twice Bitcoin. How does that make any sense? I think we talked about that. Maybe that was on a different show, or maybe it was Maple Bitcoin. But we said if we move to a Bitcoin standard tomorrow, what would NVIDIA be worth? Maybe like 10,000 Bitcoin? Stress causes, oh, that's what it is. Yeah, I'm just getting stressed out here. Okay. Okay, one last question here. For people who thinks Jor and the Bitcoin maxis are talking absolute bollocks like me, I would say just VOO and chill. You are living on this planet only for a few dozen years, not forever. What's VOO? What's VOO? Is that tell me that's not a crypto? What's VOO? We are living on this planet for a few dozen years? I don't think so, man. I'm going to live till like I'm 250 probably. And my Bitcoins are going to go up in purchasing power every single year. Anyways, it's 3 o'clock my time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. That was a good show today. As much as, sometimes I get a little bit wound up here. It's because I give a shit. If I didn't give a shit, I would be selling you a bunch of products. I'd be telling you what you want to hear. I'd be talking about the price, all this kind of stuff. But I really think that we deserve better here. And Bitcoin is the better version, the better reality. And again, we've been lied to. We've been cheated. We've been stolen from for thousands of years. And finally, we have a fair chance here. Because this system is truly, truly decentralized. Nobody can print Bitcoin and steal yours. The more value you hold in Bitcoin, it's the only thing that you can truly own, right? Because if you got gold in your closet, in your safe, you might say, well, I own gold. There's no debt attached to it. There's no title. I own it because somebody would have to physically come and take it from me. Well, that's a problem. Is that gold is only yours until somebody more powerful comes along and takes it from you. You might say, well, I got a house, I got land. Same thing. Only yours until somebody more powerful comes and takes it from you. But if you understand Bitcoin, if you have your Bitcoin secured properly, you can store it here. I don't recommend it, but you can store it in a book. You can store it on a QR code. You can scatter those QR codes across different parts of the world. And literally nobody can take it from you. They can do what they want with you, but nobody can take the Bitcoin from you, which really reduces the incentives for violence. Because think about it. Somebody shows up with a gun at your house and says, give me your gold. What are you supposed to do? And what will they do? They might pull the trigger and they have your gold. What happens if they pulled the trigger and you're storing Bitcoin instead? Can't do anything. You're not worth anything to them. You have to understand that. That's a very, very, very powerful thing. Let me say that again, because I really think that this is an unlock for people in terms of how powerful Bitcoin is. You got a bunch of gold in your basement. Gold to me is the closest thing to hard money. You have a bunch of gold sitting in your basement. You own it, right? Somebody comes to your house with a gun, says, give me your gold. You say no. They shoot you. The gold's theirs. Same person comes to your house, but now you have Bitcoin, which is maybe stored in your head or stored in different parts of the world because you can do that. And they say, give me your Bitcoin. You say no. What do? The only way to guarantee that they're not going to get your Bitcoin is to kill you. Think about that. That's a major mind melt. Try not to swear here on Tuesdays. Oh, wow. Look at this. Sats Oil Zap 21 Sats said, thanks for reposting a couple days ago. Of course. Benjamin says, the real question is, does he accept fiat? Doubt it. I do accept fiat. I'm kind of not happy about it, but I accept it because I can still convert my fiat directly into sat. So it's the same kind of thing, right? Somebody's getting value from me. They send me value in the form of Bitcoin or fiat. Doesn't really matter that much. One is just a lot more traceable, fiat, but it's still value. I can convert that fiat to Bitcoin if I want to. You're just sending people value. It doesn't matter how you receive it. It doesn't matter how you spend it. It only matters how you store it. And Alex C donates 8,888 sats to Ed Wallet while on site working on my furnace. Wow. Alex, what a guy. That's unbelievable way to end the show today. So what's the new total, Jake? We got to update our number here. And for anybody who's watching this, for anybody who's made it 2 hours into the show today, into this steamer of a show today, I'm going to have Ed's wallet. Well, you can see it on the screen here, I guess. I don't really need to put in the pinned comments. But I will put everything else, including Bitcoin Citadel. Nobody asked for, unless I missed it, but nobody wants to order Element, I guess. Get some free Element as part of your package. I might throw it in there. We'll see if I remember or not. But I'm waiting for Jake to update the amount here, and we'll put it across the screen. I guess in the meantime, though, if you're saying screw Ed, I want to donate to Jor instead. There you go. Nobody's saying that. Jor, how could you not know about VU and have the audacity to accuse me of having Dunning-Kruger effect? I think you really need a reality check, man. You just call other names and others names and trolls. What is it? VU is an S&P 500 ETF. Oh, I'm so sorry that from a guy who just said that he's fully removed himself from the fiat system, I'm actually proud that I did not know what that is. I don't claim to be an expert in finance. I never have. I spend all of my time in the Bitcoin network. So if you're trying to say that takes away my credibility speaking here, I would actually say the opposite of that. I would say that actually adds credibility because I do not give a shit about index funds in the stock market. Oh, that was included in the total. I got you. I didn't know it was him donating it. What a stupid comment. The Dunning-Kruger? No, because I'm not sitting up here trying to talk about investing in index funds. Like, come on. Yeah, good, great point here, VHF. 100% going to happen. In my defense, I really don't care about Vanguard. I hope Vanguard goes out of business tomorrow. I literally spend 0 hours of the day in that system. I'm not joking. Like, I'm not just saying that to sound like a hardcore Bitcoiner. I literally do not. I'm surprised I even know who the Prime Minister of Canada is, honestly. That's how little time I spend thinking about the fiat system and the stock market and all that other shit. I just don't care. I've fully removed myself from that system. And so the fact that I actually love the fact that I didn't know what VU was. Cannon zapped 888 sats and said, fuck the S&P 500. Apologies for the language. That was a comment. That wasn't me. Thanks for keeping it real, man. Look at that. $5. Thank you, Jay Brooker. We're trying, man. Again, I do these shows every day, every single day, I guess, except Saturdays and Sundays. But I don't even remember the last time I missed a day. It might have been in July. But I do this for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours every single day. And it would literally be impossible for me to be anybody but myself. You can't hide. You can't hide when you're doing hour, hour and a half, 2 hours of live streams every day. Live, with a live chat. So I appreciate it, man. Very much. Thank you. Cannon says, we all need to be like Jordan, get out of the system. I mean, I'm not fully removed from it in the sense of like I still have a bank account because I have a mortgage, and I still have a little bit of stocks, but they're all Bitcoin companies. So yeah, I'd literally anything other than that. I own nothing outside of Bitcoin. Nothing other than my house and my car, I guess. A little bit of silver, but I definitely don't own an index fund. I definitely don't own any stocks in companies that don't have any Bitcoin because they're all going to zero against Bitcoin. Go think about that example that I gave where if everybody had equally distributed sats, 200,000 sats, what would a house cost? What would a company be worth? What would a share be worth? What would a car be worth in Bitcoin terms? And that's where we're going to. It's just that people don't have the ability to see past next Tuesday for the most part. So fiat is boring. Exactly. Only the necessities. Can't wait till I don't have a bank account. Yeah, that's my goal for the next 10 years. And actually that's something I've that's something I've been trying to do myself is every day just spend a little bit less time there. It's not something where you just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're out of the fiat system into Bitcoin. It's just like one drop at a time. Think about them like two buckets, fiat, Bitcoin. Take one drop a day. Spend a little less time watching Netflix, a little bit more listening to music. Spend a little less time in the YouTube comment section, a little bit more working out. You have the ability. You have the ability. Only people who own VOO are trust fund babies. Yeah, I've never even heard of that before. And I'm actually quite happy about that. Stocks and other assets will go up in price over time in fiat, not in Bitcoin terms. But Bitcoin will go up way more, and it's more guaranteed because one Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, but one house is not like the other. Same with stocks. I mean, no, I agree. I know what you're saying here, but stocks and other assets will not go up in price. They'll go up in price in fiat terms, but they're going to keep going down in Bitcoin terms. Like, look at a house. A house cost 5,000 Bitcoin 10 years ago. Now costs 5. Even though in fiat, it went from 200,000 to maybe 2 million. So everything goes up in fiat because they just keep printing more units of it. So everything inflates. But that's still fiat. Look at this, stocks. Good man. This is the shit I'm talking about. Literally the shit I'm talking about. This is such a small thing, but it compounds into something much bigger. Just somebody going from YouTube to Rumble. That's a step from fiat to Rumble. Even though Rumble's centralized, you can say whatever you want on Rumble. Nobody's censoring it. And again, I need to be careful what I say here. I'm trying my best to behave in the fiat world. I'm trying my best to comply without giving any sort of, of my time. But she's hard. First time on Rumble. It's actually pretty cool. You can watch it and you can, it's like picture in picture. You don't have to have premium like you do. Troy, can you please elaborate on that MSTR service that provides dividends? Yeah, it's called, I think it's called Stretch. STRC. Pretty sure there's Strike, Strife, Stride, Stretch. And now there's one in Europe. I forget what it's called. STRE. I don't know. Yeah, it's called, I'm pretty sure it's called Stretch. Tuning into the Daily Show. Yeah, 10 a.m. Eastern time every day, Monday to Friday. And I would say the shows are always like this. They're just much less stress, much less fiat mindsets. That's what it is. Stretch. Everything goes down in price against Bitcoin. Yep. Okay, I'm gonna hit the road. Big shout out to everybody who zapped Ed's new wallet. I'm gonna throw it up there on the screen one more time. If you want to. We got Ed 41,784 sats today. Ed had a better day than me today, but he deserves it. He's 88 years old and he's still working at Home Depot or whatever it was. So wow, great show today. And there's actually a lot of people who stuck around for the ups and the downs and the nonsense and everything. So yeah, we're going to replay this lesson. It seems like yesterday that we did it, but we're going to replay this lesson on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to do it as a premiere, so the live chat will be running. I'm usually in there hanging out. And yeah, I appreciate everybody coming by today. Thank you for the zaps. Thank you for giving some to Ed. Hopefully we'll have a pretty good update for everybody next week on that. Hopefully it's more. It'd be awesome if we get some more in there, but I'm happy with that. I didn't think we would even get that much. So Ben says, great show today. In brackets every day, Jor, keep ripping. All right, man. I will do that. And look at this. We even got thanks from Alaskan Wolf. So thanks for coming by. Thank you for the support. Thank you for sticking around here for 2 hours and 10 minutes. This morning show was an hour and a half, I think, today too. So we've been busy. But we're going to take the Arnie boy for a walk. We're going to eat some food, and then we're going to keep going because we're in the Bitcoin gold rush right now. People are going to look back in decades from now and give literally anything to be where you are right now. The fact that you can trade $1, 1 unit of illusion for 1,100 sats, 1,100 units of sovereignty. People would kill for that. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. I had like 5 other things I wanted to talk about today, but we'll save that for another day. Alaskan Wolf, thanks for your contribution. Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for hanging in there. No doubt. I respect that. I respect the fact that he stayed. I don't know if he was listening to heavy metal in the background and just watching the chat or not, but either way, good to see. So have yourselves an amazing Tuesday today. We will be back here next Tuesday for number 7, and hope you've been enjoying these. If you have, you can send Ed some sats. You can send Lucky some sats. You can send Arnie some sats. Everybody's got full addresses here in this house. Or you can send Jor some sats. All right. Thanks, Cannon. Thanks, Ben. Thanks, Satsuel. Thanks, everybody over on Noster. God bless you all. And we'll talk to you very soon. Bye-bye.